Welcome back to the How to Be a Redhead podcast and happy Halloween. Today's episode is all about the sometimes spooky, sometimes silly, and often unforgettable experience of growing up as a redhead.
We came across a few Reddit threads where people shared everything from childhood bullying and playground teasing. And it's so funny because we were just talking about this in last week's episode about how bad is bullying now, to the weird attention that redheads get for just having red hair, and even how that experience continues into parenthood when their own redhead kids get nonstop comments. We won't be reading posts word for word, but we'll be sharing the themes and real stories that so many of us can relate to. If you grew up with red hair, you probably have your own set of scary stories, but you'll also know the pride that comes with standing out. So before we get into it, we just want to give like a special nod to it being Halloween today. As a kid, Halloween was so funny, and Stephanie just shared some photos that she found from like our Halloween nights, which were always so funny. I feel like I was a witch like so many times.
I can't find my Pippi Longstocking photos, but I was
You
Pippi
were Pippi
Longstocking
Longstocking,
few times.
but can I show it on my phone? I'll show your
I was a
one.
disco. I was a hippie. Yeah, a hippie.
She was a hippie, which I hope everyone can see this. Oops, with the lighting. Look how cute she was.
That was a good costume.
That actually was, and you even posed stuff with like your
Yeah.
fingers like that, which was so cute. You had a long necklace on that had the peace sign. But yeah, I was a witch. I was also Pebbles from Flintstone.
I remember that. I have that photo somewhere. You
I
must
was
have them.
Ariel a few times, but it was hard because we grew up in Rhode Island, and maybe it's different now with climate change, but back then, we could never go out in our costumes. We were literally in our costumes with like a big coat over us because it was
Yeah,
so
so
cold. So we
cold.
weren't able to like really show off our costumes. But we thought this was a really good time to share. We're going to share the top costumes if you are a redhead. Okay, ready?
Ooh. Okay,
Ariel from The Little Mermaid,
of course.
top one. Jessica Rabbit, which we were just talking about in a previous podcast episode. Like that's why
Yeah.
redheads might be sexualized, but that's okay. She's a great easy costume. Poison Ivy,
Yep.
Rita from Brave,
Yeah.
Daphne Blake from Scooby Doo. These
Okay.
are classic.
Yeah.
Chucky, Child's Play,
Classic. Okay.
Pennywise from IT or
Yep.
It. Is it It? From It. I think it's It. Pennywise from It. Wilma Flintstone. I think I was her if I could remember. Ginger Spice.
Probably.
Yep. Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep.
Raggedy Ann.
Yep.
Strawberry Shortcake. Oh, I love this one. Joan Holloway from Mad Men.
Yes.
That's a
You have
great
to be
costume.
older. Yeah.
Shiv Roy from Succession. That's a good one.
Okay. I like
I
that.
love that
Love that
character.
show.
The Weasleys from Harry Potter. And
Yep.
then this is the last one. Sanderson sisters, Hocus Pocus. So being Winifred.
I also think always see Miss Frizzle, Magic School
Yes,
Bus.
that's a great one too. Anything with Madeline Petch is also a good one from Riverdale.
So
I feel like
good.
Lindsay Lohan from Mean Girls is a good
How
one.
they do the cutout with the tank top. That's so popular.
Yeah. So I feel like you can get even more creative, but that's what AI says are the top costumes for redheads. So
Ooh.
yeah.
Okay.
So happy Halloween to everyone. We're going to get into the topic now. So let's get right into it. It's all about, are redheads really being bullied at school these days?
So the title is Are Redheads Bullied at School These Days? Quote, I'm fairly ancient in my 40s
Not
and
ancient.
have a very young daughter, 4 years old, with amazingly beautiful waist length red hair. So far, she's had nothing but compliments, but back in my day, red hair put a target on your back. Is that still the case? So it sounds like this parent just wanted kind of to see from other parents who have redheads, what is it like? Or maybe even redheads are commenting. So some say yes, redheads still get teased, though often more subtle, than in the past. Others note society has shifted. Being a redhead is now seen as unique and even trendy
Mm,
in some circles.
mm.
And then parents and teachers in the comment section found this extremely interesting, chimed in that bullying happens. It's not always hair specific anymore, though, but it does
I think this
happen.
is specific to the United States too. Like, I do think bullying with red hair has gotten better because even Stephanie and I's experience is not as dramatic, and I shouldn't even say dramatic, isn't as hard as it was when we
We've heard
interview
from
people from the
other
UK. Like, our previous
definitely.
episode from in August when we talked to Thomas Knights, we did a
Mhm.
whole year of interviews and we ended it with Thomas Knights, who did the Hot 100. And he even says, like, it was undesired to
Mm.
have red hair. Like, it
Yeah,
wasn't something that you would even wish upon your worst enemy. Do you remember when he said that?
yeah,
So that's why I think it really depends on where you live
yeah.
for how it is. I mean, I do think from just what we hear, people are still being bullied. Australia, I was in Sydney this year. I didn't feel like there was any bullying at all. And no one said anything about my red hair either. I do
Mm.
feel like it was a culture where like being tanned and blonde is the top of the top. So I found that interesting. Whereas, like in Asia, I feel like people just think that you just came down from heaven, like they just can't believe that you're like fair and you have this beautiful hair. They like, haven't seen anything like you before. So I do think it's interesting as you like travel, like where people appreciate your red hair more than in other countries. And I do
Yeah.
have to say that in United States, it's like maybe because it's a melting pot of people, but they really accept us here more than other countries, which I think is a good thing. And I think that's why this Reddit seems to be more positive, right? Stuff like in terms of the comments, like they really are more positive, saying redheads do get teased, but maybe not as brutally.
Yeah, and I think it's just again, I think to your point, depending, this was a UK forum.
It
I
was.
Yes, it was. So,
Wow.
I think
I do
it
see that.
does
Ask UK.
depend on where you live.
Well, I'm happy to
Maybe
hear that it was so positive in even in the UK. That means that it's even better than it used to be.
yeah, I mean, people are saying some do get unfortunately still picked on, but we've talked about this on previous episodes that no matter if you're a redhead or have other things that make you different, own it, rock it, you're unique, love who you are. But unfortunately, those who are not as confident, lack self esteem, who knows what's happening at home, those
Mhm.
bullies are going to target the ones that maybe look a little different or act a little different. So it's, yeah, you just have to, and I loved what we talked about on our last episode about, advice to give to parents who have a redhead, who
Yeah. Who's
need
been
to
bullied
kinda
too.
navigate. Yeah, but I remember when I was younger, I remember vividly this kid in my class. It wasn't so much my red hair, but he would always make comments on my freckles.
Mm.
Now people are drawing freckles on.
I know.
So
I know. It was really
it's
hard for me. I remember mom was really cool about me starting with mascara when I was like in 4th or 5th grade because like I really felt more of an outcast with my blonde eyelashes and
mm,
my blonde eyebrows because they're so transparent. I became more self-conscious of that rather than my hair
interesting.
color.
Yeah,
And she was like, "Oh, let's get you a mascara." And Nana was so good about like sitting down with us and like we would have mascara
her black
conversations and stuff.
mascara,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that Maybelline bottle, the pink and green
Green.
one. But yeah, I just have such good memories of being able to like enhance my beauty. And I know that some people don't want to do that or can't do that, but I do feel like having that security at home really does help you because we were able to always go home and like our mom would help us with beauty stuff or our dad would be like just be yourself, be confident,
Yeah,
be
yeah,
yourself. And like those things still ring true all these years later.
yeah,
So I do think that the way that you absorb, like maybe you didn't take those freckle comments as harshly as other people do because you don't know people's home lives. But I do think that if you really, I always love this, fill your feed with a lot of positivity,
yes.
fill it with things that make you feel good. Stephanie and I didn't have social media growing up, so we couldn't fill a feed with like Julianne Moore, Jessica Chastain, Isla Fisher, beautiful redheads who are like so rocking their
And all the
confidence.
influencers
Oh
that
my
are out
god,
there
of
now,
course,
we
and the
work with
millions
so
the
many of
millions of
them.
influencers who are out there that you can, like, get inspiration from, natural or not, that
Mhm.
have red hair. So it's just
Definitely.
such a great way to, like, boost who you are, especially with being a kid now, everyone's on social media.
Yeah,
So that's the tip, is to really fill whatever you are scrolling on with positivity.
definitely, yep. So that goes into our next topic. It's titled Weird Childhood Experiences as a Redhead. So it's pretty long, so bear with me. It's quote, "Hey y'all, I'm new here, but I'm curious how many other people have had really weird childhood experiences because of their red hair. For example, I will never forget the day a mid-50s man walked up to me, 7 years old at the time, and asked me if he could buy my hair. For context, I'm autistic, so I thought he was being literal, so I told him no and stood on business. Then this man decides to tell me he is going to steal my hair. And I told him he couldn't, and he told me I should let him have it because I can grow more. I ran off and he had nightmares for weeks that this man was going to shave my head and steal my hair. Also, people used to touch my hair all the time. And when I say people, I don't mean people I know. I mean little literal strangers in the grocery store would walk up to me and touch my hair while complimenting me. I have a good mom who used to tell people to stop and even slapped a woman's hand away one time. So
She must have gorgeous hair.
has something like this happened to anyone else?
Wow.
Thought that this was just so, lighthearted to share. It's also a story of this redhead that, having nightmares of this person.
Yeah.
That definitely stuck with this person. But some key takeaways, that growing up as a redhead may feel like you're living in a spotlight, right? But
Mhm.
people can treat you differently. And in this scenario, I was kind of shocked reading it that this person would say this to this young 7-year-old. But what a lot of people in the comment section mentioned is constant strangers, touching their hair without permission. That has never happened to me.
Oh my gosh, it's happened to me so
Well, you
many
have such
times.
I
And
know,
I
you
think
have
maybe it's the
your
length
hairs.
as well, but, like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've been at Whole Foods and I felt someone tugging on my hair.
Oh my god.
It is startling and weird, and I always pull it back, like, immediately. Like, I always pull my hair back,
Wow.
and I remember it happening a lot more when I was a lot younger, but, like, in my 30s, probably, like, a handful of times that someone's just, like, come up and touched it. Yeah. It's startling because you don't expect it. You
Yeah,
don't expect it
right,
at
of
all.
course.
So, I still don't like it, but
Well, who would? I mean, it's kind of an invasion of privacy.
yeah, and I remember this past summer stuff, we did, like, a sound on TikTok where, like, it was a beautiful black girl, and she had, like, this beautiful hair of curly hair, and I'm sure, like, other people who have unique hair get the same thing that redheads do, like, they wanna be
Yeah,
touched.
yeah.
They want their
I know
hair
what you're
like,
gonna
other
say.
strangers wanna touch their hair. The voice was like a girl who someone comes over and is like, "Can I touch your hair?" And she's like, "Rah, rah, rah."
Yeah.
And basically it was like, make it the new normal to just bark at people who wanna touch your hair.
Right,
So, we did a whole sound on it, and I just remember being like, "Oh, that would be so great if we could bark at them," you know? But I
right.
really think at the end of the day, when I think about the people who have grabbed my hair in my life, they didn't mean it harshly, and they didn't, like, tug on it or pull on it, but they're literally admiring it. It just really comes off the wrong way.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's because you're so caught off guard and then the stranger's touching your hair. It's like
It just
it
reminds me of, I love watching travel shows on YouTube, and there's this one guy, shout out to Walter's World, but Josh and I just love this guy. He's a professor and he, like, travels all around the world and he does these funny videos. And he's always like, let's just say you're going to, like, Italy for your first time. He'll do a video on, like, things to do and not do when you're in Italy. Yeah, they're just like quick videos. And he did one on America, like anyone who's traveling to America. So we click on it and it's so funny. It's like, do not touch the Americans. They don't like to be touched because other cultures
Oh,
are
okay.
so touchy-feely. And then I know my husband, Josh, he's in a Spanish immersion class, and the teacher said when she lands in America, she has to say, Okay, I know that Americans are very like, "Don't come near me." There, you guys are very particular. So, I feel like we are a culture of like, "Do not touch us," but then
Yeah,
people still do it. So,
still,
I don't
still.
know why it happens, but I can totally, yeah. People just go out and touch your hair. Yeah.
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 I thought this was interesting. People sharing that they've been compared to fictional characters such as Ron Weasley, Pippi Longstocking, Annie.
Annie's a good Halloween costume.
It is.
Annie,
It
of
is.
course, with the red dress. Yes.
Yep. But I just think, yeah, being compared to a redhead fictional character, I think that every redhead has kind of experienced that. And then getting both weird compliments and backhanded ones, like we've shared on a recent podcast, like you're pretty
Mhm.
for a redhead, right? Like,
Yeah.
we hate that. Some share bizarre experiences, like adults making inappropriate jokes or assumptions. So, yeah, just a redhead. You know, those videos, like it's a redhead thing. I just think
Yeah.
this is just a redhead thing. And kudos though to the person who shared this on Mom, who would stop those people if they were trying to touch her hair. But
Yeah,
yeah,
another PSA, just please
don't
stop touching redheads' hair or anyone who has different hair. Just don't touch it at the grocery store. Don't startle someone because they have beautiful hair. If you really want to give them a compliment, in the right moment, say, "You have beautiful
beautiful
hair," and
hair, and that's
keep
it.
walking on.
I know.
Don't touch or say anything weird.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yep. Our last topic, so we talked about this on our previous episode, but talking more about it, but it's the title is Not Prepared for How Much Attention My Redhead Baby Gets. And this person shares, quote, "My baby is now 10 and a half months old, and she is complimented on her hair by strangers many, many times a day. If people
Mm,
don't comment directly, I hear them talking about her hair to their friends, partners, and their own children. It's all positive, and if I'm honest, I love the comments, so this isn't a complaint at all. I just had no idea how much attention she would get.
wow.
Neither myself or my husband have red hair, which I think draws more attention and is a topic of conversation."
Of course, of
And it
course.
got
Like,
hundreds and hundreds of comments, and I'm not surprised. Parents, key takeaways, parents realizing quickly that a lot of parents in the comment section realizing, yes, it means nonstop comments if you have a child with red hair. Some people feeling that it feels invasive rather than
yeah,
positive, even if the comments are positive. So
yeah.
I can understand that if you're outside somewhere and then you get like bombarded and it can be overwhelming. And then a lot sharing childhood experiences. Many parents reflect that their attention their kids get reminds them of their own childhood.
Mm,
Yeah, I think just a cycle continues. You have the redheads pass down both a lot of parents were sharing that they too got the attention. So if they were parents who were redheads, so they passed down the pride and the challenges of standing out. I think it's just again, it comes with kind of like the comments that you'll get, the attention you get. If you're listening and you're a parent that now has a redheaded child, just know that you will get stopped,
yeah.
and it kinda depends on the context, like what was said, the setting. If you're hearing it a lot, it could be overwhelming, like this person shared, like, comments after comments after comments. It must be beautiful, bright red hair, I'm assuming.
We have a cousin who is Italian, olive
Oh my god.
skin, black hair. The dad is
Same.
brunette, same.
Yeah.
And their child is so fiery red, like more than Stephanie and I.
Unbelievable when I see photos.
Freckles, like it's
I
crazy.
know.
And I do have to say that, like, if I somehow found out that she was the mom, it's, like, really startling because the mom and dad are so olive skin and so tan and so
Yeah.
black hair, and then to have such a different looking child is such a conversation, like, I think in that situation, I might even say something, but as a redhead, it might come off better. But I do have to say, like, in those unique situations, it's fascinating to, like, see that that is, like, literally their child. Like, they didn't adopt a child or, like, that is their child. So it's really fascinating sometimes when you do see it, and I can understand why, but sometimes I'm sure, like, the moms are proud of their kids for having the red hair, but they also are like, "I created you," right? In
Yeah,
many of the
yeah.
instances. So,
I
yeah.
remember last year, might have been around 4th of July, we brought the kids to this, I don't know, event in our town, and there was a family, they have 4 kids, and I've seen them at our school. So I approached and I was talking to the mom, and then I noticed their daughter. I've seen her at school, but I walked up to her, and it made me think of this because she probably gets so many compliments, but her daughter, so they're black, and her daughter has the most beautiful red hair.
Really?
Oh my god, like, stunningly vibrant. So I've seen her at school, right? But, like, I've never
Yeah.
said anything, and then I see her at this event. So I had to
Wow.
go up to the mom and say, "Your daughter has absolutely beautiful hair, like, all of your children, but your da." And she understood why I went up because obviously I'm a
Yeah.
redhead. So then we
Yeah.
got to talking about how to be a redhead and stuff, and she was like, "To this day, we have no idea where the red hair came from." And I said to her, I remember asking her, "Do you get stopped a lot?" And she goes, "All the time."
They must think that
And
she dyes her hair, right? That she
I
dyes her
don't
daughter's
know.
hair.
I don't know. Or that she's not the mom, maybe, but she goes, "We get stopped all the time." And I was like, it is just so beautiful. And the way her freckles were absolutely stunning. Her hair was up in these two pigtails, but it was just like, I think she
Wow.
was 4 or 5 years old. I think she
How
was in Bo's
cute.
class, but oh my God. So I'm a redhead going up to a mom that has a
Yes.
redheaded daughter,
Yes.
but she just was like, we get stopped constantly.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's stunning, stunning, but it made me think of her because I'm sure people don't think that she's the mother. Just like we've mentioned
Yeah.
before, our
Yeah.
mom would get the same comments.
Actually, people would ask mom, like, what color hair dye she dyed our hair.
That's insane.
I know.
Like,
And
you're
mom goes, "Yeah,
dyeing
like,
your
I
2,
have
3 year
time. I have time to dye their hair red." I mean,
like,
do moms do
I'm
that stuff?
changing
Have you ever heard
diapers.
of, like, moms dyeing their kids' hair?
I didn't think you did that. I
Like,
don't
would you
know.
ever dye Isla's hair?
No.
Right.
No.
So, I mean, that's crazy.
I have heard of some kids when they get a little older, you can, like, spray this, like, stuff for, like,
Okay,
a couple
okay,
washes
like for
but they're
Halloween or something.
yeah, but they're like middle school, high school age.
Okay, okay.
I personally would never do someone like no, I would never dye Isla's hair, but that's insane that people would assume that about and then there's mom like, "I'm just trying to catch up on sleep
I
and
know.
change."
That is
But I think we could
so
take away
real.
from I know, these 3 topics, I think we can acknowledge both the challenges and the pride that comes with being a redheads. Redheads
Yeah.
never blend in, and that's our superpower, right? So,
Yeah, and
own
I
it.
hope that your Halloween costume is, like, so vibrant
That
and
you're turning heads at that whether you're going to a I don't know, trick or treating, going to a Halloween party.
wherever. Whatever you're doing, I hope that you are enjoying it. We also have a very special National Love Your Red Hair Day coming up on November 5th.
Right.
So we're gonna be doing a special episode on that day. Instead of next Friday, we're gonna be premiering the episode on November 5th. So we're very excited about that. So make sure you tune in for a special episode on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday, whenever November 5th is. I think it's whenever November 5th is. But we also have a very special sale going on right now on howtobearedhead.com for Halloween. So make sure you head there. All links will be in the podcast notes. But if you want to help us spread the word about How to Be a Redhead brand in this podcast, give us a 5-star review and tell your friends, redheads, and everyone else to subscribe. You can listen to the podcast directly on howtobearedhead.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And don't forget to look at the podcast notes to find links with products mentioned and so much more. Rocket Redheads, and we'll see you on
Rocket.
National Love Your Red Hair Day on November 5th. Bye.